If you mess around, you're going to be a broke influencer. And it's so funny because the misconception is as long as you're posting content, you're making money. Couldn't be any further from the truth. Listen, a lot of your natural hair faves are no longer posting online, and it's not because they made millions. So these are the things that I've learned as an influencer, and I hope that it helps you on your journey as well, because making money shouldn't be an uncomfortable conversation. I used to joke around and say I've made all of the mistakes you can make as an influencer. Honestly, I meant that. At the time, I really felt like I was lost. Been creating content for like 6-7 years at that point, and I kind of felt like I didn't have anything to show for it. Like, things were very inconsistent. How could I make this my thing? And it's funny because when I first started creating content, and that is mistake number one, is that I didn't want it to be my thing. I didn't embrace being an influencer. The whole point of me being online wasn't to create content. It was to help other women with their natural hair. And I felt like a lot of us were struggling at the time. I was struggling with my hair, and I was like, if I'm struggling, I think there's a lot of other women that are struggling. So let me show up and kind of help them. Back then, being an influencer didn't exist. Being a content creator was like a very new thing. It wasn't even like a term that people use. Job created content. You're like the weird ones out, like talking to a camera. What are you doing? So me showing up, it was more around, let me help someone else. And I really kept everything under wrap. I didn't want to make this a thing. I didn't tell family, friends, nobody. I was just like secretly uploading videos on the internet. I just didn't have vision. That was my first mistake, I could say. I didn't know what could happen. I didn't know what this could be. It was more like my little outlet to deal with life. I was going through a lot at the time. My father had recently passed away, and I didn't know how to cope with the pain. I started creating content online, just taking care of my hair. Didn't have any vision. So starting without a plan and not having a vision as to where you want to go and what you want to do with your online presence is a mistake. Don't do it. Think about where you want to go, and that's how you're going to get there. What did Oprah say? Successful people go where they want to go because they know where they want to go. Something like that, girl. But have clarity as to what you want to do and where you want to go, and then show up. The second mistake is I had a lot of doubt. And because I didn't know what this space could look like for me, I think that is the reason why I had a lot of doubt around what could potentially happen. For a few years, I'm creating content, and then my mind started changing. Like, I like doing this. I love doing it. In fact, could I make something out of this? I specifically remember a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. She started creating content as well. Like, we met in high school, and then we went our separate ways. We went to college, kept in touch here and there. She started creating content. So we met up for coffee. I think it was 2016. I still remember the conversation we were having because she was like, Jen, I see you with 1 million followers. That's interesting. 1 million people. Never thought that this could even be a thing. And she's talking about how she sees me and my platform growing to that extent. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, Jen, you don't even believe in yourself like that. I don't even believe in making it that far. And that's when I realized how doubt I had in myself when I started creating content. So that was mistake number 2, because that held me back for a really long time. And that leads me to the next step, not believing in myself. But one of the biggest mistakes that I made online is every time I would start something, I wouldn't believe that it could work. Like, I had all these voices in the back of my head. What if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work out? And what we don't realize is as we keep questioning ourselves, it's like eating away our drive. It's eating away at our confidence to accomplish the thing. Imagine if you don't believe in the thing, how are you going to make it work? And half of the time, I would say I believe and I want to make something out of my social media following. The other half was saying, what if it doesn't work out? What if it's failed? You should go back to your 9 to 5. Like, what are you doing? And I had to push through the doubts over the years, slowly but surely. I think I definitely matured over the past 4 or 5 years online. Really changed everything for me. The pandemic really changed me as a person. And then becoming a mom, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, or my back, because having these babies, hard on the body, girl. The fourth mistake I made is avoiding the hard things. You're so busy. You feel like you're working a lot. Like, I felt like I was creating content all the time. I'm working my 9 to 5, I'm creating content. On the weekends, I'm creating content. After work, I'm creating content. But really, I was avoiding doing the uncomfortable things. Some of them are the things we're going to talk about today, but I avoided doing the things that would actually put push the needle forward, things that would change or make a huge change in my business. I didn't really see that as a business, but that's what it was. But doing the hard things that isn't comfortable, that I knew I had to face, and I had to face myself, I would avoid that like a plague. Now, girl, let me go and create my content, be in my happy place, and not talk to brands or not talk to the people I needed to talk to or not do some of the things I knew I needed to do. And that was like one of the biggest mistakes. And I realize now actually how much it's ingrained in me to avoid doing the hard thing. Waking up early is difficult. Staying up late filming the videos is difficult, especially as a mom, right? I can make a lot of excuses as to why I'm not doing the thing. We have so many fears, we're uncomfortable, we don't want to do it, I'm tired. But ultimately, it comes down to, are you willing to put in the hard work that's required for you to be successful in any area of your life? That's a question for you to answer. Now, because I avoided doing the hard things, it led me to being very inconsistent online. I would show up sometimes, I would show up for a stretch, and then where's Jen? She's gone. It was almost like an ongoing joke with some of my followers, like, the only consistent thing about my channel is the fact that I was inconsistent. Ouch. But I knew it was the truth. I was inconsistent. I would show up whenever. It kills me, thinking back, because now that I'm a mom, now that I have 2 children, and I'm always going to lead with that because it's such a huge part of my life, it was interesting to me because I have less time now. I have more responsibilities now. I have 2 kids to take care of, but yet I am more consistent than ever. I am showing up like I don't have 2 kids. And yes, it is midnight as I'm filming this video. But I'm doing the hard thing. But I'm being consistent. I'm doing all the things that I made excuses for in my 20s. And now it's like I'm a new person. I organize my days better. I make sure I plan things ahead. And like I'm doing all the things. The excuses that I made though 5+ years ago, you wouldn't believe. The reason why I wasn't consistent, because I'm tired. I'm working my 9 to 5. One more episode of Netflix, which turned into 2 or 3. You already know that. So I wasn't consistent at all. And that was the biggest mistake, I would say, being online, because the second you stop posting, people forget about you. Especially right now, there's a lot more competition in the space. There's a lot of creators, there's a lot of people posting content, and you have to cut through all of that strategically. And one of the ways that you can do that is by being consistent. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I made, again, trying to avoid doing the hard things, is avoiding what would make me money, which is marketing and sales. Yes, it's uncomfortable. I always had it in my mind that I didn't want to sound a salesman, car salesman. That's what I thought marketing was in my mind. It's for the bros, for the car salesman. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna be creative. Just gonna create from the heart. I'm gonna do what makes me happy. Because how are you gonna sustain the message? How are you gonna sustain yourself? How are you gonna sustain your family if you don't do the things that's going to make you money? If you don't learn about marketing and sales, you will forever be a hobbyist. I'll give you an example. Shameless Maya posted a video maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it was on Instagram, and she was talking about how she was in a lot of debt. I've been watching Shameless Maya from the very beginning. My YouTube journey, I think it was like 2012 when I discovered her, even before she shaved her hair. And I was like, oh my God, I've been following her journey. How are you in this situation now? Like, it really seemed like you had everything going for you. At the height of your career, she had her own agency. She had employees. She was doing all the talks, all the interviews, teaching people how to create content. She was like a jack of all trades. She was doing everything. And I was inspired by her work ethic, how consistently she was showing up, how shamelessly she was showing up. So when I was watching the video last year, I'm like, what happened? And today, I don't know, maybe a couple of days ago now, she posted maybe a follow-up video. Maybe she's gonna go into greater detail. She talked about on her YouTube channel that at some point she was making like $100 to like $400 a month. Girl, you have a YouTube channel with like 1 million+ followers. How does that make sense? Is that the baby? I can hear the baby in my mind all the time. No, he's asleep. Why do I keep hearing him? Okay, let's continue. How are you in this situation? And I feel like a lot of influencers, natural hair influencers specifically, beauty influencers as well, just kept checking content out there. And yes, they're getting paid through the platforms. But the issue with putting all your eggs with YouTube AdSense or platforms incentive is the fact that you're depending on views. If you're not uploading, if you're not getting a ton of views, then your income plummets to the ground. You're making $100 a month when you have a YouTube channel that has 1 million subscribers. That's the reality. You really have to show up consistently and strategically online if you want to make this a career, but also make it a long-term career. One that doesn't involve you every single aspect of the business to make money, because the second you step away, it dries up. Avoiding doing the hard things, avoiding learning about marketing and sales is not going to help you. Just showing up online without a plan or direction. Learn from my mistakes. 7th mistake is going down the rabbit hole of Google University. Planning, learning, and being stuck in that cycle and not really doing anything. Once I realized I needed to learn, and that was like 2020 for me. I'm telling you, that really changed everything. 2020, the time where we were all home. So everything paused. And that's what it gave me the space to think. Because before that, I was like hustling and bustling, going to work, filming these videos, going to work. I was always doing something. And I was like, wow, I was really stressed out. I was really busy. I didn't realize that I was just running on autopilot. I love the fact that life was slower. I was doing yoga in the morning. I was really enjoying the break. And I realized, oh my God, I need to figure this out. I was like, I need to educate myself. I need to figure out how the industry works. I started like maybe investing in myself a little bit, but really heavy on figuring out what I'm supposed to do. I'm learning. I'm accumulating the message. I'm accumulating a lesson. Planning, okay, I'm going to do this. And then let me plan it up. And I kept getting stuck in the planning mode. I didn't take any action. Yeah, I will learn, but taking action when you learn, especially in terms of doing the hard thing, not reinforcing the fact that you can be comfortable, that no, girl, you need to put in the hard work. I told you that if you're learning and not implementing what you learn, you might as well not learn because you're wasting your time. Implementing is how you learn how to actually get to the next level. You can plan, you can learn, but nothing is going to teach you like doing the thing. And I wish I took action early on versus making sure that things were perfect, in whatever venture I wanted to go. And I'm doing a lot of different things now. I'm taking action in a lot of different things now, but it took me a really long time to work on the mindset piece and then to start executing and getting over the fear and the doubt and just like moving forward. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, you need to move forward. I really wish I invested in myself earlier. As much as I went down the Google rabbit hole and accumulating a lot of lessons, I just really wish I invested in me sooner so that I helped me take action. Whatever I needed help with, whether that was therapy, whether that was in coaching, whether that was in just putting myself in rooms where people were having these conversations on moving forward, whatever that looked like, I just wish I took action and invested in myself. And that leads me to the last point. One of the biggest mistakes that really held me back was fear. We talk about some of them already. The fear of failure. There's the fear of rejection, the fear of having too much responsibility on my hands, the fear of judgment. And then I started feeling like I had a fear of regret. I was regretting not taking action. It got to that point, and that's what made me realize, okay, I can't live like this. I can't live with all of these thoughts in my mind, like the what if it doesn't work out, but what if it does work out? And you're going to make sure it works out. That's the secret sauce. Being mindful and intentional with the things that scare me, taking it in a different way. It's not fear, it's actually excitement. Maybe I need to relabel some of the feelings that I'm feeling so that I can move forward versus being stuck in the cycle of what if it does work out? What if insert positivity? What if it grows? What if it gets better? What if it improves? What if you make a ton of money? What if you're able to support yourself and your family? If this video resonated with you, even though it is from a content creator perspective, but you could be working on something else and dealing with some of those mistakes, making some of those mistakes, realizing, hey, you know what? I'm stuck somewhere. I take action. That is the biggest advice I can give you. Stop being in your mind. Stop planning. You know enough. You learn enough. Take action. If you need someone to keep you accountable, this is mainly what my coaching program is about. It's about giving you clarity in terms of, okay, this is where you need to do. Don't ignore marketing and sales. Let's make the money. Okay, that's important. Let's hold ourselves accountable. If you're interested, the link will be down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you're struggling with anything else or any of these mistakes, if you're making them. I would love to keep the conversation going, and I will see you in the next one.